My name is Todd Sherman. I am Dean of the College of Liberal Arts. I am a professor of art, and I'm a local artist here in Fairbanks. I'm here to do a demonstration portrait of Maria, and I start off with my paper, which is 11 by 17 Bristol board. In this case, it's got a kid finish. It's mostly cotton. I choose that size because I can scan it in a large flatbed scanner, which then allows me to have it as a digital file, and I usually, from these digital files, print off high quality prints for the person who's posing for me. So I'll start off using a Conte crayon and rough in the general features with the Conte crayon. I like it because it's a warm color. I like the sanguine color. They have 3 or 4 different browns in the Conte crayon, but I like that because it's kind of more orange color. Typically, I put the head shape at the top of the paper, and I almost always cut off some portion of the top of the head. It's not intentional, it's just the way it happens. Once I get the drawing in, I'll use my thumb or finger and smudge it in certain areas to give a tonal area that's not a mark per se, but just makes it a little darker, and it helps me define some of the shadows. And then from there, I'll probably switch to a pencil. And one of my favorite pencils is the 8B Mars Stadler pencil. And they call it graphite, but I think it's something other than that because it seems to be darker and denser. But I like it because of this density, this nice black color. And I'll use that to rough in a few of the areas. And I'll save this pencil marking for the end of the work as well to help tighten up some of those lines and marks. And once I have the drawing to my satisfaction, I'll come in with acrylic paints and brush it in there, and I'll usually start off with a larger brush, a flat hog bristle brush, because it has a nice touch for it and the way it's used with the paints. So I'll start off by just filling in colors for certain areas with the paints, brush them around, use some water, spread it around, and then switch from color to color. And you can see my palette has got many colors, and it's acrylic, it's already filled with paints, and then I'll use a little atomizing unit to keep them moist. And then I put the lid on the container. I use that to keep my paints from drying out. One is the expense, but more than anything else, it's a ease of using the paints, and I can get to them quickly for each portrait I do, so I don't have to squeeze out the paints for each portrait. Because over the years, and now that I'm Dean, this will be less the case, I'm sure, but over the years I would go into the local schools and draw, anywhere from 20 to 60 portraits a year, depending on the time I had to draw them and how many kids were in my children's classes. And once the paint is pushed around in the area I like it, I come back and I'll add different colors, and as you look at a portrait, you see there's quite a few colors in the human face, and it bounces around. It's not, the hair is not strictly one color. The facial skin tones are not the same, single tone. There are many, many colors. There'll be some ochres and browns. There's even some purples and reds and greens, depending on the facial characteristics. So I'll use a variety of colors, and I find that it gives an animation to the portrait when I use a variety of colors. And as I finish up the portrait, it takes probably anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. And then, as I said, I'll use this dark pencil to finish up and tighten up around some of the areas, usually around the eyes, the shadows in the nostrils, under the lip, and sometimes, if in this case she doesn't have whiskers, but in the male portraits I'll use it for the whiskers and things like that. And then I come back in and finish with the Conte or add some colors here and there, but I always consider these things as roughs. I never really consider them finished, and I hope someday to have enough time to go back and finish them. But in all honesty, that will probably not happen, because I'd rather start a new one than to go back and work on the ones I've completed or seem to have finished up for the most part. And then I'll find out the proper spelling for the model, Sometimes it's quite exotic, and I'll need some help there. Usually, if it's a John or a Bill, I can figure that out on my own. In the case of Maria, it's spelled a little different way, so I need her input, and then she's got a nice exotic last name that I want to make sure I get correct. Then I don't really sign it with my name, but I put the date on and the model's name, because these originals really don't leave my possession. It's not that I have them stored nicely away. They're usually in a bunch of drawers, but the models will get the, like I said, high quality copies from the originals.